Hi, I'm Jeff Scott. Welcome to my channel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Toyota Hilux and I'm going to attempt to install a winch on the front of it. In order to do this, I want to get it behind the bumper somehow, and I'm going to attempt to design, create, laser, press brake, some metal in order to mount the winch on the front of it. Stay tuned and I'm going to take you through the process start to finish. Check it out. Please do give us a like for the video and do subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment down below if there's something you want to discuss. And I hope you enjoy whatever creation I'm about to come up with. Stay tuned. It's Saturday morning, it's still Saturday afternoon now. I woke up Saturday morning. There's no football for Dylan, my son. And I just got that feeling like, I don't know, let's get stuck into a project. So here we are, bumper off of this Toyota Hilux 2009. Got the front crossbar off. I've taken temporarily, I just took the winch off of the rear of it for the minute, because I was just thought before, like, rather than ordering a winch and me having like the wrong one or something, I already have a winch which was on the back here from the last project that we fitted it on there. Basically what I did was I took the existing tow bar and I folded up 2 layers of 5mm steel and bolted it on here and welded it on the back there, and that's been epic actually. That's been really, really good. So I'm thinking, what's the feasibility of the front? And I'm just not sure. Then I look online, look on eBay, and they got like the mount kits with the big huge metal bumpers on the front, and I didn't really want that. That's not really what I was looking for, and I don't really want to spend £900 on the bumper kit as well as the winch. So I've got a bit of a plan. I've been drawing, I've been lasering, and I've got the press brake here. I'm about to start bending, so let's just see if it's going to come together. First bit, basically the plan is to have a bar that's going to come across here and bolt on, and then I'm going to take it from there in terms of layering it up and putting some additional bracketry on there. Bear with me to see how this goes. Right, first bend. Doesn't really matter which way round it is because it's symmetrical. So this is mild steel. This is 5mm thick mild steel. I do have some thicker mild steel. Actually, we've got some 8mm and some 10mm as well. But I don't really have the tooling for the press to bend that. Don't really have the dies and stuff for bending the thicker metal. So what I found is the 5mm can be pretty good as well, because it cuts nice, it bends nice, and I can layer it up. All right, how's that looking? That's ever so slightly overbent, so I think that'll be all right. But I'll just adjust the press for the next bend with the corrections. Right, I'm changing the tooling over on the press. I'm going to put this die in because this is taller. The lower fold that I've got on the design of this means that it's banging. It was banging the other tool in the die as I put it in, but this one is taller. I don't really like using 2 different dies for the same program, otherwise you risk colliding with the tools if you're not careful. But let's do it because I think we need to do it. Same thing, let's do the test bend first. We've got no tools in there. Looks good. Right. See what sort of angle we got on this. So it's under, but only just. It's under like by 0.7. So consider I went up quite a lot in the corrections. I did well, otherwise I probably would have ended up with that one overbending. There's quite a big bit of material here, so I'm going to keep wasting it. Just going to hit that again. Let me try the other one now. Right, so that's looking good. I wonder if we're anywhere near being close to do what I want it to do. Right, I'm just working this into position, and I don't want to be blowing my own trumpet or anything, but like this was started out with just, well, I'm just going to bend up like an L-shaped bit of metal, sort of see where it goes. But this is actually starting to look good on a first go. I was like measuring, oh, well, maybe I'll put the holes in for where it's going to bolt to the frame. And then I come back for, well, maybe I'll put the holes in for where it's going to go, like, mount the winch. And then I was like, well, I want to bolt something else up here for a bracketry. Perhaps I'll put a fold at the back for that too, and a bit of strength. And then perhaps I'll put some extra holes so I can bolt, like, layer it up and bolt 2 layers together. It was a little bit awkward getting it in place here, because just like where I'm getting it past this flange, this bit like sticking out of the chassis rail and the back. So if I was going to tweak my design, I'd radius these corners off a bit more. Let's see. Let's see, how far off are we? Right, let's whack this a little bit. Okay, so a couple of little tweaks, I think. Yeah, there's a bit awkward getting in and out of there, so I think I could do a radiusing off this corner. Like if I chop that a bit there, that would make that a lot easier. And then just where this is sitting, there's like a bit of a seam, like a weld, which this is bumping into, so it would be better if this wasn't here. This little bit here. So I think that's what we kind of need to do. And as much as I don't really like using the grinder, when you've got laser and CAD software and stuff, sometimes, yeah, it'd be a waste to redraw this for this little thing. I might as well get the grinder out. So I've chopped a small bit out here where it's buttoned against the seam with the grinder, and I chopped the corner off here like a chamfer, where it was difficult to get it in and out. And then let's see how that is. So already that was a lot easier to get it in, which is good. That chamfer looks like it's done the job. Now see, because I couldn't really line up my bolt holes. Not bolted up or anything. Let's see if that's enough just to hold the winch like in rough position and see what it might look like. And just depending on this sort of angle here, really, how we're going to end up with the winch. It might be sitting like down a little bit at the moment. Like we've got a bit of space at the back is what I'm thinking. If we were to sort of sit it up properly, it's probably going to be like there. In which case, you know, we've still got a bit of space. It could potentially go back like 40 mil. Now the other thing I'm thinking is, like, when it comes to the point of refitting the bumper, you know, how much are we going to have to chop out of all this bumper to be able to get this home? So it's like there. I guess it's basically taking that whole grill out, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then on this side, there like that. Okay. So there's some promise going on there, isn't there?
Yeah.
That wasn't far off for a first go.
Heard.
We've kind of got a rough idea with the bumper. This can go in about 30 mil more. I've got a couple of modifications which I made on with the angle grinder, which could do with being like reflected onto this. Right, tweak the design, and I've designed an upper part to it, so it's going to sandwich together, and I've just redesigned the lower part, taking into consideration the stuff I grind off with the angle grinder earlier, and there's a few other changes which I've made to it as well. So I'm going to cut both of these off, going to bend them on the press brake, and put them together for a take two, see how it's looking. Kind of got a bit of an idea roughly what I'm looking at for how much I'm going to have to cut away on the bumper. So yeah, no, all's looking pretty good at the moment, I think. Stay tuned. I can tell you one thing for sure, when you've got a laser that cuts holes and cuts a shape, you never want to drill anything again. You never want to use a saw again. If you can draw it with the CAD software and cut it with a laser, it's just so precise. It's like, even to the point like, you know, this table for example, when I first made this table here, I'd only sort of just got the laser and I cut the top plate like with the laser, and then I hand drilled the rivet holes. Then like doing my head in that the rivets weren't all like millimeter perfect, even though I marked them up like with care. They're all a bit wonky and stuff. Where you get it on the laser, get on the CAD software, get it on the laser, it's just perfect. Love it when it's perfect. Right, so the lower cross section, version 2, they're ready cut from the laser. I'm going to take it to the press. I'm going to put the bends in it. Program saved from before, and it's pretty much the same. First bend. Right, here we go. Wish me luck. Just going to check the angle. It's looking spot on. That's like, since we got it dialed in already from the first part, means that the angle's spot on now from the second part. Right, I'm going to change the tool in for the second bend. Check my angle. This is slightly smaller, the material on this bend, because I took a bit out to avoid a seam. Spot on though. That's good. Do this side. Check the angle, just to be sure. Looking good. Right, version 1, time to come out. Version 2, time to go in. There's a few changes here for version 2. Okay, that's gone in there really nice, and I've tightened it up. It should be quite tight against the crossbar. Hopefully not too tight. Hopefully I can actually get the bolts in. Looking good. I'm tempted to go straight for part 2 as well, although I might just sit the winch on here and look at the positions that I've made for the winch. See whether these holes do look like they're in a better place now. That looks good. Looking good so far. Let's go ahead and cut the next part. Right, come on, arrive with me here to the laser. Right, upper section. Yes. Need to get a measurement how much where I'm going to go on the material. Need to go up Y615. Close the doors up and have a go with this. Right, while that's cutting, I'm going to come back to the press. I saved the program that we're doing already. I'm going to create a new program for the part number 2. Upper cross bar. Good, good. We'll have a look at the drawing I've made from this one. So the upper one, some difference is this one, well, is 600 the bend length on bend number 1. This adjusts how much like tonnage it's going to use depending on the length, and also it adjusts the fingers in and outwards. So, and bend number 1, 32.65, 32.65, and then moving on to bend number 2. This is basically the same. It's like 117 still on the width, 70.65 though instead of 75, because it sits on top. It's 5mm material. This bend needs to be 5mm less. 70.65. Enter. Good. So we've got a program ready to go. I'm going to need to switch to the long tool for my first bend. Well, it might not even matter which way around I do these bends, in all honesty. Looking at the sheet, I don't think anything is going to bang on these bends. This one, it would collide if I didn't do them the right way around. This one looks to me like it's not going to matter. Part number 2 ready from the laser. It's probably a bit hot, so probably put some gloves on would be a good idea. Danny's going for it.
And it's not that hot.
Not that hot. You'll be crying and running outside there with a thing, hands under the tap.
Might be dirty,
It is dirty, isn't it? Look at that.
but drop is
Excellent, thank you. Right, over to the press. I think I'm gonna, seeing as I got the tools set up for this smaller bends, I'm just gonna go for it, I think. Go for these first. I'm pretty sure it's gonna work out. Pretty sure. Looking good, looking good. Right, change the tools. We're going to switch to bend 1. And hopefully it doesn't bang. I've taken the gamble here now. Is it going to work out? I'll do a dry run. Don't make me feel silly now, bend. Oh, it's close. Just missed by like 5mm or so. Got lucky there, didn't I? I was being lazy, Danny. Not swapping the tools around. Like in the same order. And that one, slight overbend on that one, so I'll make a correction just in case I end up bending that anymore. Right, here we go. Part number 2, let's check it out. Is it gonna work out? Oh, yeah. It's a little bit sloppy in there. I probably could actually make that a bit longer. So it's come along pretty good. I was feeling like there's like a little hole around the side here. Let me see if I can show you it. Like this one here, and I was feeling like I would like to use that. It's like right on where they've got the tow hook mounting point anyway. So I was just there experimenting with a design, like trying to get the shape where it could go like inside or outside. I mean, this shape wouldn't be very good because it's very small there, but I've used that like to sort of size up the inside and the outside. And the outside one, I can extend it like that way, big. And then the inside one, I'll extend it that way. It looks like the outside one, yeah, I can use a 5mm bit of metal and that will be nice there. And the inside one, a 3mm will probably fill up the gap just nicely between there. Let's look at the bolts I've got. I've either got short bolts, too short, or I've got these really long bolts. And these really long bolts, the amount they sort of pull through is like the nut won't go on tight enough. So I'm thinking dual purpose. So if I use these packers, 5mm on the outside, 3mm on the inside, it's going to give me extra strength, but also should allow me to use them long bolts and not run out of thread. This bolt hole is actually, it's got a thread in it, but it's not really a usable thread. I think it's a metric fine type Japanese thread, or it's bunged up, whichever way. So I'm going to put an M10 bolt through it instead and nut and bolt it. These ones I'll go for M12s. I'm going to cut another one of these 5mm outer ones for the other side. Then I'm going to cut the inner ones. I've got to change the material to 3mm on the laser. So here's the second 5mm outer one on the laser. And I'm going to slice that sheet off, put this slice of 3mm on the bed and make the inner bracket. Right, so look how this is shaping up here. I've got 5mm reinforcement bracket going from here to this bolt hole on the side there. We've got 5mm going down from there and bending and going across the bottom edge and back up. And we got a fold on this bottom corner to give some support in that. Then we've got we've got a 3mm like reinforcement going, same as this 5mm one on here to that bolt down there, going to that bolt on the inside and sort of acting as a packer as well. And then I've got the 5mm going down here with a fold and up here with a fold, bolting together, and a fold on the front edge as well. And then these also, I can nut and bolt these together to make this all like really solid. I haven't even done it up yet and it's feeling like really nice and solid. Yeah, time has kind of run away from me a bit really. I've been gone here like the whole day. I will be in trouble. I will be in trouble when I get home because I've been gone like the whole day, and though it's getting there, there's still a lot of work to do. I still got to cut the bumper around and stuff, so I probably do need to give up pretty soon. Of course, when I say give up, I don't mean give up, I mean just put the job on pause. Better get these bolts in here before I tighten it up on now onto the chassis, because then it will be difficult to line them up if I wait till then. These are the winch holes. I'll make sure these stay nicely lined up. Solid, epic. Right, let's try positioning the actual winch on it. I'll get this bolt out. So like, yeah, in terms of getting this on, this bumper back on, I'm gonna have to cut this around like a reasonable amount, I think. Talk about more or less in its place. Look at that. That's epic. Yeah, that's good. I like that. So I think what I want to end up with is this piece here, basically there in front of that. So I need to come up with just need to work out a way to bolt that on, really, to bracket that on. It could even be reusing this bracket and going down the bottom and bolting up using the existing holes that are already here that I've made for this for the rear. If I cut that down a bit lower, chop that out, that might just bolt down there. Not sure yet. I think I'm going to sleep on it. Come back to this tomorrow or in a couple of days. Yeah, so I'm looking at this and I think actually, if I just come up, chop the bottom, it probably can the bumper can just fit over the top, like between the winch and the scoop. Alright, so that's going to be too low. I'm going to need to make a new bracket that extends it up a bit higher. So I guess that's the end of that for tonight anyway. So I've slept on it. This is where I got to yesterday. Got the winch mounted up in there, which was epic actually, really pleased with that. So now I'm looking to mount this little part on the front that's going to hold the cable in place. And then I need to finish off like the bumper, whatever cuts I'm going to do on the bumper. I did some rough cutting out on the behind bit of bumper. Then I've got another trim that's got to go on this bumper as well, which all the bolts were corroded and snapped, and that was a bit of a nightmare even getting that off. So that's where I am at now. Let's check it out. I mean, I guess the number plate is going to need to relocate up to here. The number plate was down here before, but I'll just relocate that up there because there's space up there. And then this, I need to get in here for the free spooling, but I don't want the radiator to be getting damaged. So I'm not sure I want to leave that open. I'm thinking like some sort of like flap type of cover guard so it can flap up and I get my hand in there. And then where I'm going to actually park up the hook, I'm not sure whether it's going to go on the tow hooks underneath or whether I'm going to put it like in the grill here somewhere on the winch. Not sure. Wasn't the best night's sleep last night. My dreams all night long, like bending and folding and trying to fit things together. But there was a lot of work got done yesterday, so I'm pleased with that. It wasn't even on my job list when I woke up yesterday morning. I don't know how it come about, but here we go, we're on it. Got a plan. At the moment I'm cutting like a holder for that rope guide, just coming off the laser. We ran out of oxygen yesterday, or I ran out of oxygen yesterday while I was cutting this other stuff. Usually use oxygen for cutting like 5mm mild steel. But because it's Sunday now, and I guess I can't get any more. To the switch, I'm cutting this on nitrogen. Luckily this laser is powerful enough to cut on nitrogen mild steel like this, but it's not ideal. But anyway, just making it happen. Yeah, so it wasn't like the cutting conditions. I didn't do a test square either. I just sort of went with my gut feeling. It wasn't quite right on the first hole. Managed to get it cut in by the other ones. Let's see, we might need a bit of grinding down to clean it up. When I say it might need a bit of grinding to clean it up. Oh my god, look at that. That is ugly. That is a filthy, horrible cut. Probably should have cut a test square and dialed that in, or wait till we got the oxygen, but you know, got to get this stuff done one way or another, haven't you? Anyway, ankle grinder down there. Let's clean it up. So I've had to use the pillar drill to drill out one of the holes that had failed, the first hole. I've been around that with the ankle grinder to deburr it, something that I absolutely don't like doing. I've got my drawer in here, which I've made after designing this part, and I'm going to adjust one of the programs that I was using yesterday. So material 288 width, 288 width, yes, 5mm mild steel, measures to the middle. My tooling is correct, the punch and the die setup is correct, and the measurement here on the X is 110.65, 110.65. Right, reset, reset, reset. Turn this machine on. Size the ram. Oh, push the backstop button. Set the backstop. Size the Y1, Y2 ram. Backstop is just adjusting, getting itself into position. We're good to go. Good to go, I think. Let's see. Let's check the. Okay. So hopefully my corrections that are going to be similar from yesterday. Although, time I turned it off overnight, turn it back on again, it might be slightly different. Just because each time you turn it on, all the adjusters, they like set themselves up on all the scales, set themselves up on the press. Just doing a dry run. Check it's not going to bang the tools. It looks good. Line this up with the backstops. Let's see. Let's check this out. Looks good by eye for 90. And this, I'm going to bolt this on the same bolt holes that I've got here, like for the winch underneath. And that's going to come out the front somewhere like that. Right, let's do this. Right, that's good. That's sticking out a reasonable way forward of the bumper. I don't know if I need to make it stick out quite as much as this. Now I'm sort of looking at it. Let's see how the height is. I think the height is going to be good. Let's put the front bit of bumper on, extra bit of bumper on, and then see how it's looking. But the bolts are all like rusted up on this. Yeah, it's pretty manky. Probably gonna need to buy another number plate, but it'd be good not to destroy this one like right now until I've actually got another one. Although probably don't need to use it, it'll be all right. You know what? Yeah, that was getting annoying. So just lining up, like seeing how much we need to cut away with this bumper. There's not as much as you think. You need to cut a channel away for the actual rope to pass through, which is obvious. And on this bumper so far, like I guess on this part I'll start little by little. There's like a small notch there where there's a bolt on the winch. It's sort of almost seems like it lines up perfectly, really. Quite mad. I might have to do this on the floor rather than trying to show it for the video, or on the bench. Anyway, let's see. That saw kind of is okay on the straight lines, but as soon as you get to an angle, it's no good. I'll try this air saw here because it's got a smaller blade on it. I wonder if that would be better. I wonder even if a Stanley knife would be any good. That was a lot easier with that saw. Right. And seeing as the air saw works so well on it, I probably might as well use the air saw to cut this out. So I'm confident that where I've got to is like, there's just like the last bits. Basically what I should concentrate now is get the power wiring on, get the winch in, get the bumper on, get the vehicle like usable again. Then I can do the last little bits another day. Ideally when we've got some more oxygen for the laser to cut. So the earth down the bottom here. And I'm going over the top with this cable, but I've got this like really thick, like 500 amp cable, and I might as well just use it. When it comes to power cable, you can't go too big. You should always fuse it, and you can't go too big on the cable size. Of course, you can go too big on the fuse size, so fuse it at something sensible, well within what the cable's rated for. And you could always put a bigger fuse in as long as it's still within the range, but there's no need to rush to put such a big fuse in. You could just see, can you get away with like a smaller 150 amp fuse first? And at the moment, while I've got this all apart, I'm just looking at it thinking like, you know, it's quite a lot to work to get in there, get these parts here, and really it is a bit of a prototype at this stage. I probably should put some rust protection on here. So I'm not going to be taking it all off at this stage to paint it or to powder coat the parts. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a load of wax all around the actual paint itself. So I don't know how long I'll be testing this for. I don't know whether it be weeks or whether it be months. I guess at some stage I'll pull this lot out, make some real parts, powder coat them and put them on. But for now, I think I'm just going to give it some rust protection before I box it up. So not what I'd ideally want, but I feel it's just something practical for the minute that it gets some sort of rust protection on there, especially around the places where it's touching like the chassis rail. Really, I don't want that to be rusting up touching the chassis rail. So here's the earth, massive cable. There's the live, again, real big, thick, chunky cable. The live might be the one that come with the winch actually, and this earth is an extra. I put the live inside the black plastic conduit, the flexible conduit, to give it some extra protection. The earth, you could do it as well. It's not as essential, but the live, you definitely want to protect that. Okay, the winch body itself will get hot, so you don't want anything touching that. No cabling at all to be touching that. So for the minute, I just want the wiring all up behind the bonnet so I can get the bumper on, and then I can work from under the bonnet after that. So this winch will be, these bolts will be coming back off again when I redesign this bracket to make it close to the front bumper. But for the minute, I just want to bolt it in place just so the bumper goes in with. So power connections, actually got 2 batteries on this Hilux. These are run in series, so it's just a 12-volt vehicle, and they're basically live is joined to live, earth is joined to earth. I'd like to go to directly with the earth to one of the batteries. I could go to an earth point, but I'm just going to go directly to one of the batteries. And for the live, it would kind of work out well for me. Look, I've already got this fuse here for the rear winch, and I can't see me having both winches going at the same time, both rear and front. So it will probably suit me to go into the fuse side of this fuse holder. But they are big cables. I'm not sure how lucky I'm going to be in getting an extra cable in there. But I think I'm going to have a go at it. So I've got that fused at 150 amps. This cable is good for like 500 amps. I think typically the winches, they don't really come supplied with fuses. They come like as if you fit them straight to the battery. But I don't like fitting things straight to the battery. I would like to fuse it at the size of the cable. So potentially it could have a 500 amp fuse because the cable is 500 amp, or like say half of that, 250 amp. But I've got it on 150 amp, and I've used the rear winch quite a lot, and it's never blown. It's never blown. So if it's 150 amp fuse that's not blowing, and I've got like 500 amp cable, it's a nice, safe install. Even if the cable was to ground out, the fuse should pop. The vehicle should not burn down. Like disconnecting this from the live of the battery would probably be a good idea, because if my spanner was to touch the earth, we're going to get a spark, or any of this was to touch the earth, we're going to get a big something going on. That's the cable from the rear, which looks like it does have some space to maneuver. I'm probably going to be better off moving this fuse holder around this side somewhere, I think, which will be a mutual point for both the cables, where they've both got their optimum. They can mount the slack. So this like live cable is not live at the moment. It's just connected to the winch. This is the one we need to be careful of. The battery side. Okay, so that's front winch cable reaching. That's the rear winch cable reaching. Then where this cover goes on, if I cut, like, there's a bit of a knockout there anyway, like there. And that terminal coming up the side, it is fused, but if it was to ground out, it's going to cause a problem. So I think like some protection over that would be good if I was to take that off. I wouldn't usually use gaffer tape for electrical terminals, but it is really thick, and I am going to use it in this case just for that reason. So I think if I was to find a home for that now, and cable tie that up, cable tie the power cables up also, that will be great. Okay, so I'm basically there. I'm very, very close. What I've done is I did manage to get that live to come in on the same fuse which I've got the rear winch fused into. I've just like moved it over here, and that's into the live supply I've moved it into here, and that's into the live supply of the battery terminal there. The earth wire I've got, and that is bolted up onto the earth of that battery terminal there. All the wiring's run through, the bumper is back on in position. The winch sits there like, yeah, it's really nice. I mean, considering that's a big winch, I mean, that's probably a lot more heavy duty than what it needs to be, but it's there, it's in place, it's nice and strong with all that bracketry which I've made. So basically, yeah, I'm really pleased. All that hard work was worthwhile. As far as like what we're sort of seeing on the surface here, I'm just now, like, it's quite discreet. Although this truck is a bit of a beast, I'm not necessarily looking for it to be discreet. You know, I could put a hidden winch on there, but I don't really want to hide it. I do need a number plate on there, and I do need to fit this like rope guide on somewhere. So I've got a couple of parts here which I'm going to fit now. That's going to hold my rope guide in place, and I'm going to bolt that up on the same mounting bolts underneath that's going to support the winch. And then this is my number plate holder, which I've got here, which I've made today. And I've got I've done a bit of etching on it, bit of a brand, which I'm going to start putting on some of my little projects which I've kind of done for myself, but actually we're going to start putting them online to sell. So that's how that's looking so far. Let me see if this is going to bolt up. I went like really close to this. I did one already, and it was like sticking out like 45mm out the front of the truck, and I didn't really want that. So let's see whether I've overcooked it or whether this is going to be a good distance. Okay, so looks like it was a tight fit, but actually a pretty good tight fit. It's going to also hold the bumper in place because we've lost a couple of the mounting points behind there anyway. Epic. Okay, here goes. I did draw that without actually having the number plate, just from the size on Google. Looks like it's pretty good, yeah, nice. Looking good, looking good. Okay, so the moment you've all been waiting for. Does it work? Dun dun dun! And not only does it work, but will this front winch remote, because I bought the exact same winch for the front that I did already have on the back, will they get muddled up and both winches go at the same time, or will they work properly as they should? There's the back winch. What I did do was I actually took the winch off the back and put it on the front because I wanted to sort of see would it fit, and then I could be bothered to be changing the front winch back to put it on the back again to put the new one on the front. So we just got the new one is on the back there basically. So that's looking smart, that's looking really tidy. Here's the controls for the front winch, and if I give it a try, turn it on, it didn't control the back winch. So that's really, really, really good news, because that could have really put foiled the plan. Of course I did sort of test it before I started. Drum roll. Dun 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 dun. Look at that beauty. That is sexy. Let's do it again. So that we can freespool. By having this number plate here, it's sort of like doubling up as two things. One is it's holding the number plate, and the other thing is it's like blocking where I cut away the grill in here in the middle section, and like the winch is pretty much blocking a lot of the radiator and stuff anyway. But this number plate is going to stop things directly flying straight at the radiator in the small little spaces there are left there that it could fly at the radiator. But there's also enough room to put your hand just down the side and click it to free spooling mode. and then click it back into gear, into winch mode. If I go ahead, I'm going to winch that in now. I love this. This is super cool. It's going to allow me to really sort of have a bit of a push with this Hilux down at the beach. And yeah, see if I get myself stuck. I should be able to get myself out of being stuck. And then what I think for this, for a parking place, would be to stick it on the tow eye underneath there for now. And if I'm in a situation where I think I'm going to beach the front of the truck out, then I probably better move it ahead of time. But I think that's quite a nice parking spot for the minute. There we go, look at that beauty. And then, yes, the other thing is, if you're worried, am I going to get the remote controls muddled up as to which one's which for the front winch and the back winch? I have had my labelling gun in action already. Back in. Well, I'm super pleased with that. If you've watched all the way through, then thank you for keeping up with me and watching through this video. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you also found this a little bit inspiring. If you've got any comments, drop them in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like the video and please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. And yeah, thanks for watching.